Hai, Assalamualaikum. My name is Khalil Amin bin Khairul Ihsam.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Abdul Aziz bin Hizbullah.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Munawir Rashid bin Muhammad Isa.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Rushdie bin Bayi.
Hi, my name is Fali Mutakin bin Muhammad Sobi.
Today we are going to talk about our HAS manual introduction. So firstly, HAS is the Halal Issue Management Systems representative. It is one of the basic criteria in terms of internal halal control structure in Malaysia and halal certification. Alright, our HAS primary goal is to ensure compliance the supply chain with Malaysia halal certification criteria. Alright, after that, the application of HAS begins from the root of the raw material and to the final product, or before the consumer delivers to the service. Moreover, the HAS theory consists of halal critical point and determinations of process flow chart creation and verification. So the control measure executions, corrective action development also included, and also the documentation of framework, record management and process verification. Alright, next we move on to the steps. There are a few steps in setting up HAS that start from management duty, setting up the internal halal committee, fulfilling the criteria for the halal certification, and determination of product standard, understanding the specific of the process flowchart, and plan layout. So there are the few steps that the HAS manual that could be consist. Alright, during the risk management, during the risk assessment, identifying the danger, as we call it, hazard or product protection hazard, then figuring out the crucial point of the halal. Alright, next, our vision and mission of our retail store. So we're going to do the vision. Our retail store name Youth Halal Mart. So we have our own vision, which is we want to be a halal mart that can prosper and benefit people in it, and can support the poor, such as our idol Ustaz Abiyu, owner of the Ilyus Mart and the respected preacher. Alright, next we go to our missions. Firstly, our mission is to be a globally halal mart benchmark in the world. Second, to serve our customer with the best goods, which is halal, certified by JAKIM. And lastly, to be the first best halal mart in Malaysia that treated our employees with kindness and mankind, which is according to the Sunnah.
Okay, next we move to the process flowchart for our halal retail named Youth Halal Mart. There are 6 process flow undergo in our halal retail, and from the 6 process, there are 5 halal control point should be controlled and monitored. The process flow is the first, supplier selection and ordering, and then receiving the order, the second process flow, and then after receive it, we sorting and storage the incoming products and or goods in store, and then after that products and or goods processing, which is in this step there are several activities covered in this step, and then display the goods and or products, where the products and or goods will display in a specific place in retail, and the last process flow is customer purchasing. Okay, for better explanation, I will explain each of the process flow in the next slide. Okay, the first process flow in our retail is supplier selection and ordering. Ordering and supplier selection is the process by which firms identify, evaluate and contract with suppliers. This process flow are very most important aspect to control because it is the first step to ensure and guarantee that all the products and all goods are in quality and free from any element of nash and hazardous element. Choosing the right and proper supplier is a requirement in ensuring and confirming the sources of the products. Selecting unrecognized supplier will lead to halal control point HCP1 happen, which is the halal status will be an issue to the products and doubt will occur. In MS 2400 Part 3 for retailing stated that the selection of suppliers and service providers for the delivery and handling of the products and all goods must register with the competent authority, and second, must fulfill the halal requirements. While for the second process flow is receiving. Receiving is the process of product and all good received from the supplier. This step process also need to give attention that the product and all good must not involve with any haram product to ensure the safety of halal products and to maintain the halal status, and at the same time to control the HCP number 2. Good receiving is the function of checking items delivered to the retail, either coming in as a new stock or as supplies. This also include inspecting the quality, condition and quantity of any incoming goods and allocating them to a space in the store. From the Malaysian Standard Requirement MS 2400 Part 3 stated that this is for the retail, stated that the retail shall ensure that temperature control products and all goods are received at specified temperatures and immediately transferred for processing, appropriate storage and or display. This means from the receiving of the, for example, the receiving for the raw materials, the retail should store and place the raw material in the proper temperature and storage to ensure the safety, the quality and the freshness of the product. Okay, the third process is sorting and storage. Sorting is a step in which items are received in bulk and sort out item-wise for its better storage and easy identification. For example, the sorting like heavy and big size items are kept separately in the retail store. The product stock also must be sorted neatly and orderly to ensure the product is in good condition and protect from the risk of contamination that could affect the quality and safety of the product. Besides that, another mechanism for maintaining the consistency and ensuring the protection of product and raw material is storage. Storage, as we know, is the place that we keep the stock and raw material. Okay, there are a lot of requirements for storage in Malaysian Standard 2400 Part 3. And one of them is the retail shall ensure the products and all goods in refrigerated storage to be controlled and maintained with respect to the specific temperature, which is from the retail. The storekeeper need to monitoring and temperature of the store as suitable with each product and raw materials to prevent the halal control point HCP number 3 happen. The next process flow in retail, the process step number 4 is product and good processing. Processing of good and or product covers all the following activities below. These activities I took from MS 2400 Part 3. The first activities is identification, separation, handling and labeling of non-halal products and or goods. Second, incoming product and or goods subject to integrity checks. Third, unloading of product and or good to storage location. Debulking, sorting and repacking of product and or goods. Storage for frozen and chilled product and or goods. Storage at anteroom for ambient product and or goods. Maintenance of cold chain integrity. And lastly is return and disposal of product and or goods. From all the activities above, for the example, I pick one activities involved in this process step, that repacking of product and or goods. Repacking of product and or goods is often involved typically in retail. After they purchasing it, they will repackage the product again to satisfy customer, and the retailer always usually use it to maximize its profit margin. In marketing, packaging is essentially used to the function of sales packaging. At the same time, there is the possibility for cross-contamination. Even though it is meant for marketing, food packaging cannot be produced from non-halal materials since it is considered to be nash. Although the food packaging such as plastic, cardboard boxes or microwavable containers seems to be free of non-halal substance, the origin of packaging product is often questionable. So, animal origin such as animal fats or gelatin is commonly used in the manufacturing of plastic packaging, and the halal status is unclear as there is no scientific method for deciding if the animal was slaughtered by the Sharia rule. So, in this process, it was decided as HCP number 4.
Next is the fifth step from the flowchart of halal yacht retail, that is product and good display. Although the product display is one of the visual merchandising strategies, the first one to be seen in this process is how we arrange the product between raw and dry material on the retail shelving. Product and goods on display in various sections of retailing can be effectively protect from contaminations and to make it easier for the customer to find their needs. This is because the raw material products cannot be mixed with dry products such as fruits, because it will lead to the halal control point happen that will affect food spoilage on the product.
Now, we look at the planned schematic diagram of Youth Halal Mart. This Youth Halal Mart store is placed in a special section that is connected between the mart and also the store to ensure that the level of cleanliness is well guaranteed compared by bringing the store goods through the main entrance. This is also to make it is easier for workers to restock goods quickly if the stock in the mart runs out. Next, we ensure that the path in this Youth Halal Mart is the one-way concept by making one entrance and also one exit. Youth Halal Mart is started with the wet ingredients such as butchery, vegetable and fruits, chicken, even meat that has been packed in a packages according to the weight. Okay, this is to ensure that the wet ingredients do not interfere with the dry ingredients such as bread, snacks and others, and worry about the cross-contamination. Next, milk and dairy as well as juice and cold drinks are also placed in the place provided, that is in refrigerator that has the appropriate temperature to prevent the material from being durable and not quickly damaged. After that, items containing chemicals such as soap and other bath items are placed separately and away from food products. And after that, the counter is placed at the end once to make it easier for customers to continue the follow exit. Finally, the office is placed at the front to ensure that all matters are resolved properly and to facilitate monitoring by the management.
So, I will continue with the Halal Risk Management Plan. What is Halal Risk Management Plan? Halal Risk Management Plan is used to determine the potential contaminated and affected to the food products along the food supply chain. So we got 5 HCP from this process. The first HCP is supplier selection and ordering. So what need to monitor is halal certification, and how to monitor it is need to confirmation with the suppliers every purchasing of products and raw material, and who is involved with this process: purchasing officers and halal executive. For the corrective action, we will reject if no identify any halal certificate and batch number or logo of each product to avoid any doubtful to this process. So for the verification, purchasing officer will review the invoice record of selected suppliers, and for the records they will keep in invoice or receipts. Second HCP is receiving order. So what need to monitoring is the separation of transportation between halal and non-halal products, and how to monitoring it is must be informed the driver and logistic company for every receiving process. Who is involved with this process: QC, purchase officer, and halal executive. For the corrective action, make an agreement on the product specification and ensure all delivery process follow the SOP and contract agreed, and reject the products if there is cross-contamination happen during transportation. For the verification, establishment owner will renew the CCP, monitoring form, and corrective action log. For the records, they will keep in flow process of raw material and delivery order. So for the third HCP is sorting and storage for the incoming goods and products. So what need to monitor is the temperature, which is need to use a proper temperature for every batch of incoming raw materials and dairy products. So who need to involve with this process? The storekeeper need to involve with this process to monitor the proper temperature for the storage. For the corrective action, dispose the products if the electricity is suddenly cut off with long time. And for the verification, storekeepers will check the temperature of cold storage unit at least 2 times a day. For the records, they use thermograph and calibration log kept by storekeeper. For the fourth HCP is products and group processing in debulking, sorting, and repacking of products and goods. What need to monitor is packaging material substance, and how to monitor it is product specification must be clear on the type and point of origin of the material for every time the material supplied and before used in packaging. Who need to involve with this process is the operator. For the corrective action, we need to dispose if the packaging made of animal based or with non-halal material. For the verification, we must check the type of material that used for packaging clear about the product specification. And for the records, we need to product specification and the SOP.
For the last process steps on the halal risk management plan summary, that is product and good display, in the monitoring sections, they will inspect and separate the doubtful halal status product and separate the wet and dry food at retail shelf. On how we will set each product by sections from every batch of incoming raw materials and products, and who will monitor the supervisor and halal executive. For corrective action, if there is any error, we will proper packaging a products arranged by section again, and supervisor will check the position and conditions of each products and take the records from the products barcode.